talk would be in English, because why not? I love English, and as a member of PiterPy program committee, I love endorsing the idea of hosting and doing technical events in English. Well, this talk would be not very much hardcore, I guess, and also it would be not very much practical. So if you are sitting here expecting to see something you could use in a real project, this is not the talk for you. But this is a talk about curious technology. Technology I find curious, a new database, which recently came to the stage of the technical preview. So we can do something with it, I don't know, run some queries, do some stuff, and we will. But first of all, I would like to tell you a few words about what is an EdgeDB and what it's not, and why the hell we need another database in this year. Because there's a lot of databases already. So a little bit of history. There is SQL, we all use it. And without Googling, how do you think old is SQL? Like, any guesses? 20 years, 50 years, first. Okay, actually it's 44 years old, and it's a bit crazy, because the world changed, the technology field changed, the web changed, everything changed, and we're still using SQL like it's an era of mainframes or stuff like that, I don't know. And then came MongoDB. How old is MongoDB? Okay, yeah, 10 was close. So 10 years ago there was no MongoDB and no stuff like NoSQL databases, I don't know, most of the time, no cloud-hosted databases, and we can surely say that databases as a technology, as a field, are receiving a lot of change, a lot of new stuff, new ideas recently. And it's great, because honestly, your framework does not matter that much as a database. Even your language doesn't matter that much as a database. Database is probably the most important layer overall in our everyday application use. So what's wrong now, basically, with SQL or NoSQL? First of all, you don't use tables as it is really in your apps. You don't want tables. You want objects, objects that you can use in your programming applications. And there is a solution called Object Relation Mappers for it, but that solution is no good at all. No good at all, as it's bringing a lot of trouble to the table. ORMs are slow, they're, I don't know, bloat, and all of this because ORMs are trying to solve the problem not from the data model layer, not from the query language level. No, they're solving it from the application level, which is wrong, which is not helping at all. So ORMs is not the answer. And also, we actually don't live in a synchronous world. JavaScript is asynchronous from its nature, and Python recently coming with more and more asynchronous features in its core and both in its ecosystem. And actually, yeah, we don't live in a synchronous world, not at all. We want rich interaction, client side, server side. We need everything to be done asynchronous way. So But still, most of the drivers or ORMs are synchronous. So this is another problem. Why the EdgeDB could be interesting solution, just from the top of the head. First of all, it's not from some person, hobo from the street. It's from Magic Stack. It's the guys who did UVLoop and async PG, and they're okay. Like Selivanov is core developer of Python, if I recall correctly. So they're actually sort of serious developers. And its interesting thing is that EdgeDB is a sort of wrapper, or I don't know, upper level abstraction over PostgreSQL. And we love PostgreSQL because PostgreSQL is great. Everyone loves PostgreSQL. Do you love PostgreSQL? Yeah. We hate MySQL, we hate Mongo, we love PostgreSQL. Because PostgreSQL actually is ACID compliant, is SQL compliant, is fast, is strict, and everything basically okay with PostgreSQL. And with a few recent releases of PostgreSQL, there are notable improvements in performance of JSON fields, so you can replace Mongo with PostgreSQL. There are notable improvements in replication, distributed computing with PostgreSQL, so it's great. And asynchronous driver for it, async-pg. It's the one that can serve 1 million rows in a second, but it's just a benchmark. So, but still, it's working okay. And last but not least, EdgeDB is fully open source, because you wouldn't want serious technology coming up right now and with the closed source. It's just impractical in many, many ways. So what are the key features? There are two features that are distinguishing EdgeDB from the endless rows of new databases. And they are both about the idea of new data model and the idea of simplistic, human readable and useful query language. Also, you can use GraphQL instead of EdgeQL if you want to make queries with EdgeDB. But not yet, because right now they don't support GraphQL. But this is a feature they would add. So what about data model? What's weird or new about it? They call themselves next generation object relation database, and this is how it looks like. So we have strongly typed objects with strongly typed links between them, and that objects are having properties. Properties are scalar types, and that's basically it. Please keep in mind, this is not a graph database. This is not a document database. Yeah, what is not? Not a graph database, not a document database, and not an object database. However, you can use, even considering all these nodes, you can use it with the pros of the document database. For example, create a complex hierarchy of documents and query among them. You can use it in an object-related way, so like without any additional layer like ORM, you just use it like objects. And you can basically do the graphs with it. But still, it's not a graph, nor a document, nor an object database. The current status of EdgeDB, and yeah, I was told you that it's working tech preview, really working. We will see it right now. which is basically Docker image with the REPL in it. It's actively in development. If you go to the GitHub, to the master branch of it, you can see a lot of big commits, and they're really working hard over last few months. And actually, they were working on this database over last few years. So this is like a long shot, and they really believe in it and commit to make it happen. And they're expecting to release the alpha version finally in a week or so from this day. So I was talking to Selivanov like yesterday at night, I guess. And they're promising us a proper Python driver and benchmarks against SQL, Alchemy, and Django. So basically, two most popular Python world ORMs. Okay, so far, this is all the theory I wanted to give you. Let's try to hack some bleeding edge code, I guess. Just a sec, I will switch to something. Yeah. Okay. So this is the first. Can you see the text on the screen? Sorry, it's not highlighted because it's just a Python raw string, and there's no code highlighter for it yet because it's bleeding edge. So this is basically how it looks like to create a schema migration in EdgeDB. This is the first thing you want to do, because this is a database over PostgreSQL. And it's not an issue actually, because PostgreSQL is great, as I told you, and you can expect to EdgeDB to comply with ACID, with relations. It's relational database and stuff like that. So no issues that you're having, for example, with MongoDB. When your project grows in size, and you have a lot of code, a lot of relations, a lot of complex data logic, and that's where Mongo starts sucking, because it's just too damn pricey to support all this stuff in non-relational database. Yeah, sure, it's good for prototyping, but when your project grows, it's just bad. This is where EdgeDB is trying to fit all the issues at once, because it's still relational, it's over Postgres, and it allows you to work with data in object way, in document way, stuff like that, with convenient queries. So this is the first query we would run. This is a command to create three types of objects. They have some fields, some of them required, some not. There are constraints, so there are links, which is a replacement for the foreign keys. So basically, this is what you've done with your SQL database. But it's more readable, at least. And it should be more readable, because as I said and showed you, SQL was developed like 44 years ago, and everything changed. And we don't even recall what is actually the true original meaning of stuff like foreign key. When you write your app, you don't think about, I need a foreign key, oh my God. You don't need a foreign key. You need, I don't know, an object, a link between objects, and stuff like that. The conception shifted, and we still use the old definitions, and this is just not practical and not handy. So why can't we change it? This is basically the idea, one of the ideas besides EdgeDB. So yeah, I guess there is no. So far, there is no questions to this query, yeah, create migrations, types, and commit. So let's try to...
Sorry, could you explain cardinality property? What does it mean? It's 2 stars or 1 number and then star. What does it mean?
Yeah, basically is, yes. Yeah, it is.
Could you repeat, because we don't
it's the type of the link. One to many, many to many, stuff like that.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's start a REPL, I guess. Okay, this would be a shame, but still, I'm doing it. Yeah, I activated. I will narrate my actions, I guess, because not everyone is very much transparent. So I've activated virtual environment. Then I will go to interactive REPL. Okay. Just a sec. Yeah. So, yeah. And then I will import async.io, I guess, because I need the loop. No, I will do it this way. Because all the work from the client side with EdgeDB is asynchronous by default. It's a pro. It's not an issue. It's good stuff. And we need to initiate an event loop of async.io. I guess stuff like that. Okay, let's assume it's initiated. Then I will need to get a connection function from the EdgeDB Python code, from the EdgeDB Python client. And I guess we'll do it like this way, from EdgeDB, and put connect. Yeah. But we don't want it to be in clash with our function of connect. So we will import it like this. We will rename it. Yeah, let's check it. Yeah, we have the function of EdgeDB client. So then I will write my own function to perform a connection to EdgeDB. It would go like this, I guess, with the parameters of host, user, and database. I don't think I need the other stuff to make it work, but we'll see. And here I will write stuff like this. We want to call the async method connect of EdgeDB and assign the result to variable like DB. So then we could run queries using that connection to the database. And we should pass there our parameters, I guess. And we should do return from the function. Okay, so I guess that looks like true, I guess. Then we will define a host, and as long as this server, yeah, let me show you how it works. So I'm running the server of EdgeDB as a pre-made Docker image. So I just did a Docker pull, and right now I'm doing a Docker run. Docker run the image, and our server should be starting. Yeah, it's serving on this host and this port. And while this port is correct and correctly served outside of the Docker container, this is the local host, and this is the host inside the container. So we would need, to connect to the server from outside the container, from my host system, we would need the external IP address of this Docker container. And I will get it with the very stupid way. I will just do Docker PS to show me all the containers. But there's too many, so I would grab it for EdgeDB, I guess. Yeah. Now I have the ID of container, and I would simply inspect using command docker inspect to find out the external IP address of that container. It's this one. So this is the IP address of database server in my host system. I would use that. So I would copy it and do it like that. So this is a host. And the port is default, and the port is already exposed because image was pre-made for that. So I don't need to care about the port. But I do need to care about the user, and I guess it should be like that. And the database, again, default one, should be EdgeDB. For the, oh, just a sec. Yes, a typo. I did a typo. Thank you. So I've got all my variables. Let's try to do a connect. I believe we will do it like this. We should we should tell our event loop. Oh, I think your event loop to run this task. And we would do it like run until complete. And we would pass there the function, and we would pass to the function the arguments. And our arguments is host, just a sec, yes, host user database, this order. Okay, this might work. Let's try it. Or maybe not, it's not. Yes, why not? Just a sec. Maybe. Let's try that. Yeah. Maybe not, but I don't think that affects. Okay.
No, I mean, in the last iPad you can await directly without instantiating any loops.
Ah, okay. I didn't know that. That's one of the IPython magic wonders, I guess. I like that. Just a sec. I will remember that. Okay. Just a sec. Loop run until complete. Connect. Some.
It's the inner function. So in connect, you have to do the keyword argument because the positional arguments are not the same. So it's not on connect, but it's on the one inside, on the edge connect.
Ah, okay.
There's positional, which should be keyword argument.
Just a sec. Dev connect. Now I will, I guess, find the difference from it. User connect. Ah, okay. I think I've made a mistake when I was defining the function. Yes. I guess that's it. Thank you. So we redefined the function, I guess, and then let's try it again with the run until complete. This time it might work. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, the audience. So we have now some object, EdgeDB object, which is basically a connection to our database. Let's try to run some queries, some transactions. And what methods do we have? Well, basically it's method db transaction that we need, which is also synchronous. So I believe we should run it like that. No. Loop, run until complete, then db transaction, and we're passing the command there, I guess. Yeah, but we don't have a command yet, but I have it pre-typed there, so I would just import it like this. Can we check that we imported this string correctly? We did, but I want to print it more pretty way. Yes. Okay. Yeah, seems like we imported it correctly. This is our string, actually. Yeah, it's a string with multi-line, how to say it, line breaks, but it wouldn't matter because EdgeDB would just ignore the space characters. So we have now our command now, and we can repeat this command, running our query. But we also would want to see some sort of result, so I will add print there. And I will try to print the result of this statement. Okay, just a sec. I need to see the interface of db transaction, I guess. No, this is the wrong method. Not db transaction. I need db execute. So execute this query on the server. Okay, let's try it. Yeah, it runs and it succeeds. Otherwise, it would throw an exception or stuff like that. Because not only it's based on PostgreSQL, and PostgreSQL is all right in terms of being strict with feedback and being strict with errors. But also EdgeDB have a lot of internal handling of errors, so it should fail when it should fail. You can trust that. But it returned something, and I can see it succeeded. And it returned none and none because basically this is a kind of query on schema that shouldn't return something valuable. It's just return nonce. Like at least it's working like that right now. Maybe they would change that later. So let's try a bunch more queries to do something real. This one is just a sec. Yeah, this one is also migration. What does it do? It's just a sec. Yeah, it's telling us. I guess I will split it to show you both files simultaneously, like that. Is it visible? Okay, it's at least a bit visible, I guess. And I will show, hide the line numbers, yeah. So like that. On the left is the first migration, on the right is the second migration. And you can see the user is identical, both cases. But then we are introducing another type, which is abstract. So you can have, no, basically it's what you would expect. You can have instances of that type directly. You have to inherit it. And this is the inheritance. Pull request inherited output text. So this is another example of readability of migration. Let's also apply it. So I'm importing from the second file the command. I can check it. Yeah, that's it. And I will run it the same way I ran the first query. Yeah, and I am getting the same response. So now that we have some objects with some properties, with some links between them, let's probably run some insertions. Let's put some data to our database. Okay, close the other files. In this query, we're inserting a few users, like 4 users, and nothing interesting, I guess. We're just inserting them. So we would import that. You know what? I guess I will import it like this. It's dangerous, but I like to do it dangerous. And we would do the same stuff. And we're getting in response the number of entries inserted. Let's insert some more, like something more complex. Here we are performing some with clashes, and we're doing some filtering, and we're doing some more complex inserting. So let's do that and see what we've got. Yeah, as in previous case, we've got the number of updated fields. This is the updation. We filter, and we've set in everything basically very readable, in my opinion. So let's do that too. Yeah, and as always, response. And here's maybe the most difficult insertion amongst all. What we've got here. We are doing a complex with clause and doing a complex insertion. And in that insertion, we're also fixing some related objects. So we're working with it like, sort of like we're working with the nested JSON field, like you can do in Mongo. Let's do that also. Oh, sorry. Pum 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 pum. Yeah, okay. And we can also do queries on it. Let's see on the samples. So this is how our usual SQL-like select query looks like. Basically, select, filter, order by. It's more or less reminding you your beloved or hated Django ORM. But you're doing it without ORM. This is the great stuff about it. And pum 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 pum. Yeah, and this is how it looks like to get a response from EdgeDB. EdgeDB query string. So basically, it's also how to put it. Basically, what you would expect, I guess, the regular object list of arrays and dicts, and nothing very special. And this is another query for the data, which is also using filtering, but also very basic. Let's do that too and see what we've got. Basically, we also got the data we needed. And the deletion, the last part of the demonstration of this query language. This is the first query for deletion. It's basically the same stuff. You're selecting, you're filtering, and you're getting some results. Let's try it. Yeah, stuff like that. So you've got the response on what and what exactly was deleted from the database. And this is maybe more simple query, which deletes all the texts with login named Carol. So I guess basically that's it. And this is simple demo of how would you use an EdgeDB and how would you use it from Python. And I've tried to show you some pros and cons of it. The biggest con right now is because it's bleeding edge and you can't really use it yet. But so far, the dynamics overall, the dynamics over commits, and the attitude of the authors and the reputation of the authors are on the side that it will be great and interesting, and it's definitely deserve your attention. So, in this presentation, I have also a couple of links where you can start. Maybe I will add there more links about it. I guess that's it. Thank you. Just a sec. Yeah. And we have a little bit more time, I guess 15 minutes or stuff like that. Let's proceed with the discussion and discuss not only the EdgeDB, but maybe some other weird, non-weird databases. How would you like the idea of getting rid of ORMs, stuff like that? So let's talk databases. We have time. Why not? Yeah.
Sorry, my English is bad. SQL Alchemy, Django, PonyOrm, query language of MongoDB solves one problem. It's SQL injection. What about this? Language is string-based language. It's a big field for injections.
I think I understand the question, but I don't know the answer. But basically, what I think is you saw a very hacky way of working with the EdgeDB. Because you shouldn't store the queries like raw string in Python. That's absolutely bullshit. And the only reason I did it, because it's the only way to work with it right now, because it's on the early stage of technical preview. I'm assuming that the authors of, for example, async.pg magic stack that were writing the EdgeDB would take care of that, because I guess this is just not the stage where that stuff would be taken care of. This is probably my answer. Yeah. Also, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you mentioned Pony ORM. I love them myself, but can they do migrations already? Okay. Because there's a sort of funny story about Pony ORM and migrations. Every time I've talked with the developers of Pony ORM, they all, yeah. Migrations, like, we're this close to implementing migrations. Yeah, and I'm like, okay, guys. It's just never-ending story. Okay, any other questions or cool story about databases? We have time. Yeah?
My English is bad too.
Don't worry, it's fun. Just speak it.
Thank you for your speech. If I understood correctly, EdgeDB solves two problems. First problem is query language and data representation. But GraphQL technology solves this problem. Or not?
But GraphQL is not a database.
It is not database. It is a query language. It is layer.
Okay, it's a good query language. Actually, that's one of the reasons that EdgeDB tends to support the GraphQL query language. But how does the GraphQL solve the problem of outdated data model representation? It does solve the issue of suitable query language, more suitable for this year, this epoch, these realities. But it doesn't solve the issue of data model, I guess, because it's not database. It's not changing the way how the things stored.
EdgeDB, it is not layer on other databases. Oh yes.
From which point of view? Because technically it's over Postgres, and it works via Postgres low level. But from the developer, from you and me point of view, from the point of view of the person who would use it in real app, it's a completely different way of storing and linking data. Even if we know that Postgres is underneath it.
Thank you for your answer.
I don't know if I've answered, but I've tried. Don't be shy. Let's discuss databases. Database is fun, I guess. It's not, maybe.
Hi. So, well, my English is certainly better than my Russian, so that's.
You're all saying that.
You're doing it for me pretty much here. Thank you. I was wondering about the part where, so I understand that the back end part of it, as I call it, or the tables. Like I can imagine you create, for example, 2 or 3 tables when you like when you have the ORM, you have one object matched to one table, and with this there's a kind of a freedom. It's not really restricted to what's happening. If you would make some kind of a definition. In this case, it's with a query language, but in the end, we want to work with Python objects, right? So I just think that you fixed what it's doing is fixing it in kind of like more on the database level. But I can really imagine there will be an ORM over it, which will just be then you have a more correct part that's happening in the database, but you'll still have an ORM because we like working with Python objects. Do you agree, or?
Agree with what
so
part?
That we will still have a ORM in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. But in the EdgeDB case, ORM wouldn't be true ORM, I guess, because a regular ORM is a huge I don't know, a huge, weird, scary thing which is trying to fit one concept to completely another. And in EdgeDB case, ORM maybe in a way would be just a syntactic sugar, just to work more convenient. It would be those ORMs, I guess.
I find that interesting I would be interested if there's like some experimentation, or I mean, because like you said, we don't want to write the Python string, right? So I think that once some of you guys have some time, we will see something like with nice Python objects probably. And I would be very curious to know how that will look like, but I guess that's not for now. But yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you for the presentation.
How's your English?
Probably.
Sorry, it's just after previous questions.
Don't comparing to my Russian. What types are supported now in EdgeDB? Is it like the standard SQ?
Can I open documentation?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
I don't remember that actually.
Whether there are plans for some extended types like what Postgres offers, or ranges, or.
First of all, let's see if there's a documentation of that. Okay. Type system. Pum 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 pum. This is something serious, something similar to what you're asking it. Object type definition, scalar type definition. I guess this is scalar. Okay, this is the atomic types. JSON, datetime, string, boolean, numeric type. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see that.
And this is the more complex, more upper level conceptions. So I guess like that. I don't know if that answers your question.
Okay, I see now this is really a simple, short list, but I was thinking of ranges or some geographical data. Or
you're talking stuff like PostGIS extensions to Postgres. I'm sure it would be supported if this thing wouldn't go down like in a year. If it wouldn't, and it would grow, so I am certain sure they would support more up to the case fields too. Because if Postgres supports them, the upper level abstraction over Postgres should too.
Okay, thank you.
Another question or comparison, I guess. I don't know if you know about Datomic, but is there also ideas?
How do you spell it? What?
Datomic.
No, I don't know that. Like
Datomic.
that?
Yes, that's the one.
No. Can you explain me like M5? What is it?
So I think the easiest part to say about it is that a time dimension to it is very important. So instead of always updating when you do updates or something, you're only going to do inserts. And so, yeah, you will still want to say something like, okay, what is the most recent value of like this field, right? That's what is basically happening with SQL. But yeah, I find this time dimension already in the model very interesting. And I was wondering if EdgeDB also thought about doing something with that. So like
I have no idea. But I will find out, and I guess I will write it in my Twitter later, or stuff like that. And thank you for the Datomic. I don't know if I should be ashamed. I didn't know that. Probably I should be ashamed. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? So I have one. What is the status of indexing for the data?
Status of what? Once again, sorry?
Create indices.
Indexes.
Yeah.
I guess. Well, I have no idea, but you saw the delay, but that delay when I was typing the queries to the REPL, there was a delay. But probably this delay was from the console or async IO loop overhead, maybe, I don't know, just to run it through. But still, I'm pretty sure they didn't do it yet. Because the repository is mostly all Python, and I'm guessing they would optimize it and run indexes too later.
Yeah, but the indices is the part of database structure, because if you will create indices for everything, it will not work.
That's a valid point. Can I look it up?
Yeah.
I guess.
Anyway, we need a way to customize and speed up our queries. I think I could reverse the database structure and.
Okay, there are indexes already. I was lying to you, actually.
Great.
Yeah, you see. Maybe they even working already now on the tech preview.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, there are indexes.
Any other questions?
Create index. Okay. So it's very similar to the Postgres stuff.
Yeah. So we need to choose the best question and provide some.
I forgot all the questions already. Just a sec. Pum. Let me think about it for like 10 seconds. What were you asking about? Your SQL injection, you were asking about the concept, you were asking GraphQL, and you were asking about types. Okay. Just a sec. No, it's not our ways. I think the gentleman in the middle is the best questioner, because his questions were, with a lot of concept and stuff like that. I like that personally.